Good afternoon. This is Matt Cumberledge from the Greene County Historical Society. Today we've made a little field trip to visit our friends from the Amwell Township Historical Society in Washington County, PA. Over the past couple years, they've been restoring and researching the Van Kirk Cemetery here where we're at now. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk with Katie Crosco, who's on the board of the Amwell Township Historical Society, who has been leading this project. They've done a fantastic job restoring and repairing this old cemetery, locating the old headstones and resetting them, fixing them where necessary, and making it look really nice once again. Kudos to them. I'm really amazed at the work they've done up here. Right now, I'm at a very interesting grave that has an unusual Greene County connection. This behind me is the grave of Anne, wife of James Wilson. Anne had a daughter, Euphan, who married Jonas Ely, and their son, Caleb, is the man who was responsible for the Rain Day holiday in Waynesburg. Around the turn of the century, Caleb went into a local drugstore and commented that it always rained on his birthday, July 29th. And the shopkeeper started keeping track of that, and sure enough, it always did seem to rain on his birthday, and that's how the holiday was born. So we're here at Anne's grave in the Van Kirk Cemetery that the Amwell Township Historical Society is doing a wonderful job caring for. And this is a wonderful bridge between two counties and our history. It shows that history doesn't stay within regional lines. History spreads as it does. So thanks for joining us, and we'll hear from Katie here in a second. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Katie Crosco with the Amwell Township Historical Society. We are at the Van Kirk Cemetery, which is located on private property, but if anybody would like to see it, we can arrange that. So far, we found 56 headstones here. We started this about 2.5 years ago. There were very few headstones standing. The oldest we've found is 1807, and the newest one we found is 1871. There's lots of Van Kirks, Hughes, a couple Revolutionary War guys, Mcgarry, Colson, Carter, Wilson, all sorts. We've got limestone headstones, marble headstones. This has just been such an educational experience for all of us. But if anybody would like to help with it, donations can be made to the Amwell Township Historical Society and be mailed to the Amwell Township Historical Society. P.O. Box 231, Amity, PA 15311. All right, we're gonna start right here. This is Arthur Mcgarry, but if you notice, his name is not on the front of the stone. So when I was looking at the old lists, one of them had Johnny with the dates because they thought that this said Johnny. After we cleaned it up, his name is actually written right here across the top with a little rose. He is actually buried over there. We were able to dig his footstone up from under here where this fresh dirt is. We had to cut a little bit around the tree to get his footstone out, but we just kind of scooted him downhill to preserve him. So this is kind of the Mcgarrys. We stood them back up after we found them. Eliza Laycock was in pieces. If you can see, she was in 3 pieces. We glued her back together with a limestone cement that a cemetery conservationist helped us with. So we were able to repair her, even though she's been broken for years. We suspect that that might have been her original stone, but there's nothing written on it, so we stood it up next to her in case it was somebody else. Over here, we are cleaning up stones that we found. Whenever we dig them up, the first thing we do is get water and a scrub brush, and we clean them as best we can, because obviously if we need to glue them back together, cement them, it won't stick to the dirt. So Taryn's cleaning up Sarah Llewellyn. Her husband Samuel is right above her. We found Sarah's base above him, but again, there was a tree in the way, so we could not put her under a tree. It just wouldn't have worked. We keep walking up the hill. It's one of the more intricate stones, William Imes. He's a little hard to read, but that's definitely a newer stone because we found pieces of a sandstone stone below him that had some of the right letters on it it would have been his. So his stone was replaced at some point. Down here we've got our 2 Revolutionary War markers. So we've got John Hughes and William Curry. They were put here because when they put them here, this Curry monument was about the only thing they could see in the cemetery. So they figured this was the best place to put them, even though John Hughes is not buried right here, he's buried over there. We do have a company that does zinc work that's going to try to help us restore this. A lot of the panels have been missing or stolen. We had a friend with a metal detector that was willing to detect right around and found some more of the zinc pieces. But we're missing a lot of the panels, so they're going to have to try to recreate them. They did find the catalog that it was ordered out of, so they have a picture of what a standard zinc monument like this would have been. And there's also 2 of these that are in the Curry family in the Lone Pine Cemetery. So we assume they would have been similar to that. So that's what we're using to model recreation pop up. Down here you can see all of the stones that we found. They were just upright sandstones. We just replaced them where they were. We're not sure if they're marking graves or not. We didn't count those in the 55. The 56 that we found are 56 that we can read names on. So like Priscilla we count, even though the chances of us repairing her are slim because there's not enough of the bottom. But we can read her. We know who she is. We come up here. This box tomb was in pieces. There was at least 9 pieces laying about this area, and the big base stone was sitting where it is. So after doing a little research and talking to people, we figured out what it was and how to put it together. We still haven't got the top on it, but it needed a lot of work, and we've been working on that for about a year. It's been a labor of love. That's all I can say about that one. Henry Van Kirk was a veteran. I don't have it written down right in front of me. I want to say War of 1812, but his stone's another one. The bottom half of it is completely gone. You can't read any of it, so we've got to figure out how the best way to restore him is going to be. Anything that we could, we've stood back up and repaired. If we could find the pieces, we're going to glue them back together. Some of them sit perfectly, some of them don't. Samuel Laycock, and on the other side is George Laycock. We think that pinnacle could have possibly gone up here, but we were afraid that it would be too unstable. We didn't want anybody to get hurt, so we set it next to it because we had that other piece that we didn't know what it went with, but we're not quite sure how that all fit together. Again, these pieces were strung out over probably a 20-foot area, and we just kind of pieced them together based on size and how we thought they went together. Mr. and Mrs. Beabout are 2 of the nicer stones. They're easier to read. We're assuming they were also replacements at some point. 1860s, it could have been original, but they're in pretty good condition for what they are. Captain John Hughes stone isn't here right now. We have it over in the barn. It's delaminating a little bit, but it's such a beautiful and intricate stone. There's pictures on our website. We're actually looking at, once we set him, we're probably going to put like a plexiglass box around it to preserve his stone because it's so beautiful. And apparently being captain of the Revolutionary War gets you a beautiful stone. Unfortunately, it's sandstone, so it'll wear away if we just set it. If you look down here, you can see there's lots of pieces of stone on the ground. We're still trying to figure out what to do with a lot of those. But some of them are readable, some of them are not. This one is Annie Blakeney. Her husband was a Revolutionary War veteran, but you can barely even read her last name, let alone any of her dates or anything. I only know because we have a list that has her name on it. And then I did some research on Ancestry to figure out who she was related to. like I said, this would be your Hughes area. So this is the bottom of Captain John Hughes's stone. His wife, Sarah, there's a partial stone. We didn't find all of hers. So we're not sure how we're gonna do that, but it does say Hughes on the end of it, and we know that's his wife, Sarah, because it says wife of John Hughes under it. His nephew, Thomas, is broken in half. We'll have to fix him. His brother, James, and James's wife are right here. Ironically, when we found the J.H. footstone, we thought maybe that was John Hughes, because we knew he was buried here, but we didn't have a stone for him. And then we found out, no, that was actually his brother's his brother's footstone. And we had a friend and his son wanted to come up here and help poke around and try to find stuff, and they found Captain John Hughes in that divot right there next to the tree. And then we found his base right behind him. So it's really nice when you find the base where it was originally, because then you know that's where they were buried. So, but there's some of our faithful helpers down there resetting some of the stones, and every week is a new adventure.
Hello, my name's Glenn Toothman. I'm from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, and I've recently become aware of a project by the Van Kirk Cemetery people in Amwell Township, and was interested to learn about the Greene County connection. But I'm interested to even make that connection more readily available to the visiting public. I'm the founder and creator of a device called Memory Medallion. That's what you see right here. It's a product based on the QR code concept, and it will allow for historic information and life profile information to be readily available from any smartphone. The user need only open up the camera app, come over and point to the Memory Medallion, and up will come the profile information that has been made available for that specific location. It's certainly my intention. I'm donating a Memory Medallion to the Van Kirk Cemetery to, in essence, tell the story of Jacob, Jonas Ely family. And those are the people who founded Rain Day, which is certainly a wonderful holiday that's grown into great popularity in our area. So come to the Van Kirk Cemetery, bring your smartphone, read the medallion, and learn the detailed history.